What made you decide to do a video at this point 6 months in?
Well, I decided when I left you on October 31st that I would be remiss if I didn't tell your story because it's a great one.
We are almost 6 months post-op with Barbara. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, you haven't met Barbara before. Barbara is 65 years old, and almost 6 months ago, I did a deep neck lift, deep plane facelift, lower blepharoplasty, and a brow lift. And then I think we did full face laser.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so this is your first video.
It's my first video.
What made you decide to do a video at this point 6 months in?
Well, I decided when I left you on October 31st that I would be remiss if I didn't tell your story because it's a great one. I mean, I would do this again in a heartbeat.
So she says it's a great story. Some parts were great, some parts were scary. So let's start with the great parts. What were the great parts?
The great parts were I did not have any medication after the surgery. I just stuck with Tylenol and I iced and iced and iced. And it was really fine. I felt good. I got out, I did things. I walked when, you told me I could first walk, which was, I think, after 5 days or something. I walked in a beautiful park that's here in St. Louis. I thought it was going to be a little bit difficult. And I did for about 2 years and a half. I followed Dr. Nyack. So I really did my research. I'm just that kind of a person. And I knew that I wanted him to do the work on me. I feel like he's an artist. And he's a wonderful person. And he truly looked at my face and just gave it 100% his all. And I would do it over again. It was wonderful.
Oh,
it
really
sweet. It's wonderful.
So, she made it look easy, right? Some people have a hard recovery. Some people have an easy recovery. You were super positive through the whole thing. When she says she didn't have any medication, she means no pain pills. We did use antibiotics and antibiotics and everything else. Afterwards,
yes.
yeah. One thing I did call out on your photo screen when you first send your photos, before a consultation, I always do a complimentary photo screen, just so you know kind of what we generally recommend, what the recovery is like and all that kind of stuff, so that your consultation is even that much more informative. I said, you have a little bit of true ptosis. Your eyes don't open fully. That's different than heavy skin on the eyelids. It's the actual cranking open muscle of the eye that didn't open fully. And ptosis repair is something that I don't do, but we have trusted oculoplastic colleagues here in town, John Holds, that we referred you to. And you elected against having the eye muscle strengthened or tightened to open your eye a little further.
I did.
And that was mostly because?
It just made me really nervous. I just thought, and then you also looked at everything again and thought, you know what, let's go ahead and move forward with this without doing that and see how we feel when we're done.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good recommendation as well.
So it made her kind of nervous. And then also, sometimes people with hard contacts, it's not the best choice.
Yes.
I think you wear hard contacts.
Yes, I do.
But instead, what she's got on board right now, that are opening the actual aperture of the eye a little bit more, are eye drops. There's an eye drop called Upneek. You put it in. She's only had them in 10 minutes or so they're going to be a little more effective in another 10 or 15 minutes. But between 15 and 30 minutes after using these Upneek drops, it just opens the eye, it takes some of the red out, and it's actually really pretty. So I do have patients that if they don't have ptosis repair done, or if they're not bad enough to have ptosis repair done, just on, special days, they'll put an Upneek drop in. So the brow, the face, the neck, that's all surgical. The little extra opening of the eye aperture, it's actually medical. That was a drop that she got.
Yep. That was.
All right, let's talk about the not so great part.
Okay.
So while Barbara was here, in the first few days after, I started noticing some areas, actually my whole staff, my trained OR staff also started noticing some areas where we felt like the circulation was a little scary looking, especially in the right temple and I think behind the ears.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah.
And we were really worried. Describe what it looked like to you.
It was really, really red, and it looked like it might just start bleeding because it was such a deep red, purplish kind of color. And that was 2 days after. That second morning that I came back is when that kind of showed up. And you were right on it. You're right on it. I was really worried about it because I thought, oh, I don't want to have a scar, and I didn't want to bleed and deal with a scab or anything like that. But I remember that day you took me up to the hyperbaric machine, and I was really nervous to get down in it because I'm a little bit claustrophobic. I tried, got back up, and I just thought, I have got to do this. I've got to do this. So I got back in the second try, and then I did that for two times a day for the next 5 days.
Yeah. So I personally don't believe hyperbaric oxygen, the extra oxygen or pressure, kind of hacks the normal recovery and makes it that much faster. A lot of people push it for that. I don't know if it really does that. But I do believe if we're facing circulation issues or infection issues, I actually think it really makes a difference. And so she kind of powered through it because we were worried about the circulation. If the circulation hadn't gone so well, what you end up with, the area kind of gets scabby and crispy, and it takes a little while for that to flake off and heal. And honestly, it usually ends up doing fine anyway. A scabby thing the size of an Oreo cookie ends up being a little white spot smaller than your fingernail at the end of that whole thing. Hers was never that size. It would have started less than a quarter size and ended up basically invisible. But what I was most impressed with is Barbara that whole time was just like, you have a person of faith to begin with.
Yes.
And then you had faith in the whole process, and you're just like, I'm just going to go through it, and we're not going to worry about it until I need to worry about it. It was incredible.
You knew that I was in the right hands. There's no question about that.
Well,
and I'm very appreciative for everything that you did for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for letting everyone see what you look like, and I'm just so pleased. I think this is so many new points of education in your story between the drops and the questionable necrosis and everything else. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon so you can see my future content.